Oh, hello! Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me already, my name is Bella. Welcome to the shit show. Today's video is sweat-proof makeup. And I personally tested this whole routine 3 to 4 times already outside in the heat, so I need to share it with y'all. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go. Let's get these locks behind us. I already pinned back my hair. So the first product we will be using, I love this primer. Anastasia, the liquid soap canvas. I got the sample size from SEOHORA. So I usually just put some on the back of my hand. I think 1 pump is more than enough, and then I just dot it on. You can't go wrong with either of these. This one is a dupe for this one. I think this one's a little bit darker because this one's a little bit darker because it only comes in like fair, light, medium. The shade range isn't as great, but I love the coverage on this, and it has SPF 50 even though I put sunscreen on already, and that's by It Cosmetics. This is the dupe by Maybelline. It's the Dream Urban Cover Full Coverage Protective Makeup Sunscreen with SPF 50. And I like this one a lot too. But this one, you'll have a better chance of getting your color because it's more personalized. I'm in the shade 102 Fair Porcelain. The only difference between these two is the It Cosmetics has a pump, and I'll just use 1 pump. This one's kind of harder to get as much as I want. I might overdo it because you squeeze it out. So for the video's sake, so I don't look crazy, I'm gonna just use the one with the pump. And I usually pump it on the back of my hand. 1 pump is more than enough for your whole face. This is for makeup to look good in person, and so it doesn't melt off in the sun. You can't be doing what these Instagram girls do, putting 2 pumps on each part of your face going outside. It's gonna melt off, you're gonna look crazy. So what I like to do is I'll just dot it in areas where I need more coverage. Like I tend to be more pink and rosy in the center of my face, and then like the outside not as much. So I like to start right here, and I'll do section by section. I try not to put too much product in this area where my smile lines are, because then it'll build, it'll build up in that area and look cakey. And I'm trying to avoid that. So I'm gonna dot on my cheeks. And then I'm gonna take the Beauty Blender, and then I'm going to spread the product. Cause yeah, this one's a little bit dark, but that's okay. So the goal is with makeup is to blend as much as possible into the skin. Because if you just paint it on, I know I'm guilty of this sometimes. If you just paint it on, especially if you're gonna go outside, it's not gonna blend in with the skin. It's gonna sit there. Anything else you put on top is just gonna break it down, and it's not going to look good. Do you see how much even now the complexion is? See, you know what guys, I messed up. I forgot to mix this in. This is what I've been mixing in. It's the Catrice Prime and Fine Makeup Transformer Drops. They're waterproof. It says to mix 2 or 3 drops on the back. That's too much. I do 1 or 2 drops. And it essentially makes your makeup waterproof. I mean, I still have a little bit on the back of my hand. So I'm going to mix in 1 drop. And you could see that it's like, it's a white consistency. You just mix that in together. And it does make your makeup last longer. So for the sake, I guess I can put a little bit more on. Even though I think we're fine, but you just dot a little bit on each area. And I think this really works for making the makeup last in the heat. And another thing that's gonna help is a good setting spray. We're gonna want to stay away from any dewy setting sprays and any powder. Powder is just gonna make the makeup break up with the oil even more on your face. This is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer. This has hyaluronic acid, so it's gonna plump any lines under your eyes. And I don't know if you notice, I have lines under my eyes. There's nothing I can do about it. It's just how my eyes are. So the trick with this, I know a lot of people are scared of concealer. Tiny amount. So we're gonna do 2 little dots right there and 1 dot right here. And then the same on the other side. 2 little dots right there and 1 dot right here. Now you could blend this with the sponge, your fingers. I like to use my fingers at first and then use a sponge. Some people like brush, but that's all personal preference. So you're gonna tap it right there in that same area. You're not gonna blend it out yet. You're just gonna keep tapping in that area. I'm trying to see if y'all can see. You're gonna tap it in that area. And then I have like this dip. So I like to bring it down to that dip in my nose. I mean the dip underneath my eye. And now this one we're gonna tap it right here. And it's gonna lift the face a little bit. Now any extra product you can bring across the middle like that. And just sweeping it back and forth. Trying to avoid really getting it into that line right there. Now you could take your sponge, if that's what you want. I'm trying to blend out the lines. Honestly, I think your fingers is the best because of the warmth from your body. It helps diffuse the product better. So I don't know if you could tell this side compared to this side. It's definitely a lot brighter. I like to go over with my sponge a little bit on like the smaller side. And if you have any left on your pinky, you can bring it up right here to your eyelid, just lightly. Okay, next step. Like I said, we're avoiding powder products. We're gonna use cream products. So if you're not into contour, you could skip this step. Me personally, I can't go without the contour, so I just do a light contour today, nothing crazy. And then instead of it going all the way, I'm just going to place it right underneath my cheekbone on both sides. Like barely bringing it out, as you can see. And then I'm still gonna contour my jaw because I'm fat. And then the nose. Now since I didn't do my brows already, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the stick and I'm gonna start at the beginning of my brow and bring it down. So we're gonna start like right there. Bring it around down to the middle. And then the same thing on this side. We're gonna start up here and then bring it down around the middle. And this one's a little bit more out. We can bring that one over a little bit. There we go. And then me personally, for my nose shape, instead of just drawing it like this, I draw like a line across the middle, but like in the middle of the sides, and you'll see. Like that. If you want to do your lips, you can too. I usually do. Just slightly overdraw them. It makes your lips look bigger. Now we're going to use a brush. You could use a sponge, honestly, if you want to too. Maybe I'll just do that since it's easier for you guys. We'll use a sponge and we're gonna blend this out. It might take a little bit more effort with the sponge, but so we're just gonna pounce it. We're not dragging the sponge because then you're just gonna move the makeup we just put underneath. And it's not gonna be harsh. It's gonna be very natural looking. It's gonna look more natural than a bunch of powder. But I just like to contour because I got a big ass forehead. Now if you want to blend the line more, you can take the side with foundation and go over it. And blend it more into your face. I'm gonna do all this other. Okay, nose, I usually go down the side. I like using a brush, but we'll use the sponge. So I'm just gonna squeeze it. We're just gonna pat that in to the skin. So you're just pouncing the sponge like you did on the rest of your face. And so you're gonna wanna blend the edges with the side with the foundation. You don't want harsh lines. Now if you want, you could do a cream blush. That's what I'm gonna go with. This is the NARS Orgasm Liquid Blush. I love this stuff. Ooh, is this loose? This is what it looks like. It has a pump. I usually try to do a half a pump, not a full pump. We don't need that much. Yeah, like a little tiny bit like that. And then I just blend it out with my finger. And we're just gonna dot a little bit. Take the sponge. And blend it out on the apples of our cheek. Just to give a little wash of color. I like to bring my blush kind of towards the back too. So we can bring it up like that. It lifts the face more. I feel like I'm hitting myself in the face. There we go. It's a nice wash of color. Try to blend that in with I got this blush all over the sponge. Try to blend that in with the contour a little bit. Okay. And on the other side, the same thing. We're gonna dot it where we want it. Right. Blend it out. See, it's like a nice wash of color to the face. And look, I have a lot left on the back of my hand. You don't need that much. We're gonna just take that off. And then we're gonna do a liquid highlight. what we're gonna be using is this Josie MARAN Argan Enlightenment Illuminizer. It's a mini size. I got in one of those SEOHORA things. So the same thing, I'm barely gonna take any. Wow, that was a full pump. I guess that's a full pump. We're gonna do the same thing. We're going to smooth it out with our finger. And then we're only gonna place it in areas where we want the light to hit. So I forgot to blend out my lips. Y'all didn't tell me nothing. There we go, not looking as crazy. So this, we're gonna take a tiny amount. I have way too much on my finger, to be honest. We're gonna take some of that off. A little bit on the Cupid's bow. And blend it out with the other finger. I think the sponge has too much product on it at this point to like really help me out. And then a little bit down the center of the nose. And then we're gonna put a little bit on the cheekbone here. Same thing on the other side. And this is gonna be like a very natural glow. It's not going to be too much. Like some highlighters are way too blinding. Your brow bone, and then you can blend that out. Isn't that pretty? Look how pretty that is. And then we'll take a little bit more on the other brow bone. Oh, that's too much. Okay, now the next step, if you want right here, you could just do some mascara and fill in your brows. A little bit of lip balm, whatever, be done with it. But my next step, since we laid down everything, actually no, let's do the eyes first. So you don't need this. You can use any contour palette or anything for the eyes. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Filmstar Bronze and Glow. And I use this for my lid and not for my crease. So you just take a fluffy brush, something like that, and I'm gonna dip into this brown color just to define the crease on my eye. You don't have to do that. If you like how this looks, then that's your business. Tap off the excess, and we're just going to define the crease. You can take a brush. You can take a brush, a flat brush or something like this, don't matter. And we're gonna dip into the highlight shade in here, right there. Tap off the excess. And then just lightly dust that on your lid. And it's gonna give it a pretty glow. Other eye. Okay, and now we'll do mascara and brows. So I'm gonna do my brows off camera, unless you want to watch. Whatever, let's do it. I'm going to be using, I'm really upset that my Benefit Precisely My Brows finish, because that's like the perfect pencil. It's like not too waxy, it's pigmented, it's not too thick, because I don't like my eyebrows looking like Nike Check. This is by Arches and Halos. Got highlighter on my phone. This is from Arches and Halos. You can find this at Target. And I have it in the color, what color is this? Charcoal. But this is a skinny mini. That's what we're gonna start with. So usually I'll brush my brows up. Now, if you got thicker brows than me, then you could just do brow gel and go about your business. I usually line the top in the bottom. And you see, like, I have a lot of space where there's no hair. I'm currently growing them out from over plucking my eyebrows in the 2000s. Same thing on the other side. So I don't want them to look too makeup-y. I'm gonna just fill in areas where there's no hair slightly, and then when we go over with the gel and just brush them out. This is the ColourPop Brow Boss Gel, and I really like this one a lot. Let's see if we can get the camera to focus. And I have this in soft black. So I'll start in the back of my eyebrow here, brush it out, kind of help shape it a little bit, and then I'll go to the front and brush up those hairs in the front. So I usually layer these two. I start with the Lash Princess. This is the False Effect one. So you're gonna start at the tip and then start at the tip. And then you're going to fluff it out. Okay, so I do a nice even coat like that, and while it's drying, I like to take my finger and I put my finger underneath and I look down, and my finger kind of holds them up. It kind of curls them looking, I guess. I don't know, I feel like this makes them longer, but it could just be my imagination. So we gonna go over the other one. Well, as you can see, these two mascaras layered are pretty cute. What I forgot to do before the mascara, because I'm kind of in a rush here, is to set all the cream products in place, because we're not using powder. That's just gonna break up, look disgusting when you're sweating. So I have two options here. They're both drugstore actually. Is the Catrice Cosmetics HD Active Performance Freezing Spray Long Wear and the Milani Make It Last Setting Spray. These are both gonna seal your makeup in really good, or you could use something like the All Nighter. It doesn't matter. And if you have extra oily skin, before you even put foundation or primer, you could spray a layer of this shit on. So we're gonna use the Catrice, and because I just put mascara, I'm gonna cover my eyes. And this is gonna seal the makeup in, combined with that layer at the bottom and those waterproof drops. Now while this dries, do whatever you feel like doing, but my finishing product is a light spritz of the Versali Rose Gold Skin Mist. It's gonna give you a nice glow, but you're not going to look gross or greasy. So we're gonna use this Makeup Forever. Now when you put the gloss on top, it's gonna make them look real juicy. So I am obsessed with this gloss. The Alamar Cosmetics. This one's in Miami Spice. I love the color Coqueta too. You see how juicy? So that's all, folks. This is my routine for my sweat proof makeup. Now, you know, you wear your hair down, whatever, put it up. I'm not wearing a wig today because it's too hot for that. Well, let me know if you guys like my routine. Don't forget to like this video, comment down below, subscribe, leave me your comments, suggestions, and concerns. And thanks for watching. Bye.